Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Finding Your Voice. I'm excited because I have someone I know and have come to know very well, and she's a great woman of God. She's a great woman of faith, but not only that, she's a successful businesswoman, and I can't wait for you to learn what she does and how she's able to help many of you who are trying to follow this same path. Please meet Ellen Sudderth. Ellen, can you please tell the audience who you are and tell them a little bit about yourself?
Okay, thanks for having me, Dr. Velma. I'm Ellen Sudderth of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats. I always say where we bring page turners your way. My business is a little different in when I do interview an author, I'm interviewing their book. So this is something for their book to be spotlighted and to allow readers to know them from the pages of their book.
Finding Your Voice podcast. I'm excited today to welcome a dear friend and a person that was a great supporter of me as a beginning author and has continued to support me throughout my experience. Her name is Ellen Sudderth. Ellen, please introduce yourself to the audience and let them know who you are.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Thelma. I am Ellen Sudderth of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chat. The ESP Presents is the business side of us, and the Book Chat is the book side of us. What I do is I interview authors and authors in a unique way, I would say. It's not interviewing them, it's interviewing their book. So that is a way for readers to hear the story, see the authors, and to connect it and also earn or gain readership.
Awesome. I love it. Did you hear what she just said? Because I benefited from some of those interviews with her. She's very compassionate about what she does, helps in promoting your book. So you really need to get in touch with her, and she'll tell you more about how to connect with her at the end of the show. But let's get started with the questions, Ellen. People are looking at you, and they may have seen you across social media platforms, wondering how did she do it? How successful is she? Man, this is really good. I've seen you. You've had me on platforms I hadn't heard of before, like Wisdom, and I loved my time with you. So tell us um, about your journey and were there any struggles and difficulties or obstacles in the beginning or somewhere along your path? Can you share that and how did you overcome those challenges?
Sure, Dr. Velma. One of the things that I didn't know was that I started off with New York Times bestsellers. I didn't know any indie writers. I only knew New York Times bestsellers and award winnings. So, to others who wanted to reach that, I started from the top and didn't realize it. I thought it was the norm. So, in doing that, my struggle was I didn't have followers. I had the top of the cream of the crop, if you will, but I did not have followers. And so to uh, make that be a successful thing, what I started doing was going to book shows, book events. And on there, I would reach out to readers as well as authors. So that's how I was able to go through that struggle, was by doing that.
Wow. What made you realize, what got you to that place where you realized what you had been doing? What was that aha moment that helped you discover that?
What that was when I saw other book clubs that say, "Hey, you have authors there, New York Times bestseller." That's not norm, and I was like, "Oh, I thought it was." And so
Wow.
that aha moment was what I had. I didn't realize that this was the top, if you will.
Hmm.
And with having those uh, others who would let me know, "Hey, Ellen, this is the goal." And so with that, and like I said, without having big author, imagine this, Dr. Velma, you have New York Times bestsellers, but you don't have much of an audience for them,
Yeah.
you
Yes.
know. And so in that, I worked very hard to get those audience because remember we didn't have social media
Mm-mm.
as we have
Wow.
today. So everything was flyers and walking the pavement and everything. Sometimes tears, sometimes losing, because I would have my events on the at hotels, which means that I
Oh,
had to pay for my overhead. Even if the author doesn't show up, even if the readers doesn't come, I still
wow.
have to pay for that overhead. So
Wow.
during the pandemic, that made me be at home and do my business from home. And this is all, like I say, afforded by my husband being retired and
Mhm.
allowing me to do what I like to do
Right.
and just starting back with raising the children. So, with that, you have to know what you're doing in your work. And I'll get into
Yeah.
that when you ask me again.
Yeah, if you want the money to go far enough. But I remember when I first time I met with a marketer who looked at all my social media platforms. Some of them I wasn't even on yet because I wasn't that social media savvy yet. And even with the Instagram, I think I had less than 50 followers on there. She said, "Oh no, you got to get those numbers up and you need to sign on to LinkedIn and you need to go blah blah." I was going, "Oh my gosh." So I understand what you're saying, but wow, I didn't know that about the beginning of your business. But that's so important to so many people who are listening, that the struggle is real and that it really is understanding what you're getting into and knowing what's required. Because I know you were enjoying yourself the whole time, not
Yeah.
realizing.
Not even realizing, not even
Right.
realizing at all.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a beautiful example. So I'm going to ask you this next question. For those who are looking at what you have accomplished and watching the successes of your interviews and seeing you across the social media platforms, and they may be thinking, I really would love to do that too. I really want to help other authors. Now, I heard you say you worked with New York bestsellers, New York Times bestsellers initially, and then you started working with other authors. I'm thankful that you began working with indie authors like me because that's so important. I mean, we're looking for avenues. But what about the person who's looking to follow a similar path? What suggestions would you make for them? Maybe they're unsure as how to get started. What recommendations would you have for them?
As a event planner, that's really what the ESP presents is literary event planner. So if they want to be a literary event planner, they have to listen and listen really good because I had to learn with tears and I had to learn what was going on just from paving the way and being in the trenches with the New York Times bestsellers and knowing what's going on. You cannot, if you want to do this, if you want to be a lit event planner, you want to not follow your heart. I know that might sound like a little
Wow.
difficult to say. And what I
Wow.
mean by you want to not follow your heart is you may want to create all of these things that you want to happen at your event, but you're working on small money. Or that
Right.
person you're working with wants stuff so high that you're not even telling them because you're excited. And so I learned the hard way. Don't listen to your heart because it will allow you to go further than what your finances say.
Wow. This is really the first time I've heard of a literary event planner. I knew ESP Presents, but I had no idea of the extent of the work that you do. I may have to tap into some other things regarding you, but I'm just saying I hadn't heard that before. Ellen, explain to the audience all the things that a literary event um, person does.
What we do as you have your client, which would be your
Hmm.
author,
Hmm.
you must, I learned this the hard way too, Dr. Velma, is I used to allow the authors to schedule, to give me dates. That never
Okay,
happened. And some
right.
of them are in different cities and all that. So you have to have control of your schedule. And
Hmm.
when you schedule that, make sure that because we had to do things through email. Now we got what we could do. You can do Zoom and you can actually do these things and really talk and call them. You must look at your calendars together and you give the date. You, the event planner, say, hey, I got these 3 dates open. Look at your calendar, let's match it and
Right.
must lock it in because you'll start doing advertisement, you start doing all this stuff, and you haven't gotten paid in it. So lock it in with reserving your seats. Because
Wow.
I've done that before because I went with my heart again and was planning these things, and the author said, "Oh, I can't do it." Well, look, I've done sent out flyers, I've
Wow.
done all these things, and then now you don't want to do it. So now you have to have them to reserve that in. And when you have that conversation with them about their book, maybe they might want you to do a theme at your event. And then you create that theme, but you need to talk about that theme, whether it's going to be on the color of their books or whatever you're going to do at those events. Okay, let's talk about having people come. I used to have tickets when I was on the outside. So somebody might buy a ticket and they may not even come. You need
Oh,
people in
wow.
those seats. You need people in those seats. You need them engaging with those authors. And then sometime you may not get what you thought, like
Mm-hmm.
making 100 flyers and you think you're going to get 100 people there. Out of
Mm-hmm.
that, you may get 10.
Oh,
You may get 10
wow.
people at your event with an author sitting there, just you and them. Now,
Wow.
I'm going to spill on this, okay? This
Mm-hmm.
is huge. Uh, Two things, Dr. Velma, if you allow me, and I'm being very
Of course.
transparent. Okay,
Please.
so I had uh, Victoria Christopher Murray out here in Newport News in my town. The person who was with her said, "Hey, do you have a bookseller?" I didn't know what a bookseller was. So someone who is a bookstore owner. And
Mm-hmm.
what happens is they know that you have that New York Times bestseller. They will give you so many books, not give you, but you're buying it, and whatever you don't sell, you can give back to the store.
Oh,
So
wow.
I didn't know that. So Victoria was here. I had the books. I didn't have the books because I thought because some of the New York Timers brought their books with them. Now some people may bring their books with them, and some
Right.
people you get those books. So
Mm-hmm.
I redeemed myself, and I went and got it was almost $200 in books, and
Yeah.
so I got those sales. I would get those book sales, and I
Mm-hmm.
guess she would get the points. And so I had to redeem myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. Number two, I had Trisha R. Thomas, Napoli Ever After. She
Mm-hmm.
allowed me to do her 10th anniversary of her book, her Napoli Ever After series.
Oh,
So she
wow.
came to our town. She flew from California. I was supposed to have 60 people. I only had 15. I only had
Wow.
15 at the show. And what happened with that show was those 15 were with her book from the start. We had so much fun. She said, "That's okay, Ellen." And she did put our flyer in Oprah's, one of Oprah's, I guess, magazine or something. It's in
Yeah.
there. And
Mm-hmm.
so she had it, not my name, just where the place was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fail of not having that many followers.
Wow.
And because of that, she just continued on. We did the electric side and everything. And I still communicate with her today. And so that was one of the things I want to be very transparent as a literary event planner of these things that you want to happen. And it may
Wow.
not necessarily happen. So it could be a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Sounds like it. Wow.
So I want to be transparent of that.
Yeah. Now, over time, because of those experiences, do you now require that money to be placed up front from the person that's commissioning you to do the literary event?
Yes,
Okay, good.
yes. And then another thing is I don't have to do it outside at the hotel. I do
Yeah,
it from my home.
there you go.
Hmm.
Love it. Love it. Wow, this is powerful. This is really powerful, Ellen. I appreciate you being transparent. Now, don't let my questions deter you from sharing something else with the audience. If you have something else, say, well, Dr. Velma, let me add this.
I do want to add this.
Go
Thank you.
ahead.
Thank you. I do want to add this. And what I want to add is we did a event at a hotel
Uh-huh.
and it was plated.
Wow.
So you get the menu and you want everybody to have what they want.
Hmm.
And so the heart wrenching part of it was don't let them plan their plate. You give them a selection of what is there that you have.
Wow.
And so what ended up happening, the show did happen.
Hmm.
We was $1,200 short because we were thinking of the hearts of the people and what they wanted as to what we had to pay for. Okay.
Wow.
And so in doing that, my husband did not want me to fail. He upfront $1,200 for me. And so
Oh.
my club that was in, they said, I don't care that that's your husband. You're going to pay him back. And I know she's your wife, but you better keep that money for yourself. I was crying. My husband pulled me aside and said, this must be a hobby. You don't want this. We do our taxes. This is like a hobby to the IRS. I have a business license. And so
Mm-hmm.
now they're able to take, taxes out on my business.
Yeah.
But doing that, I was literally in tears. My husband said, do you want this job? And that was one of the things you were telling me about was how did it affect your life? Because you said the
Mm-hmm.
voice, just tell it. It affected your life because you pulled from your own house money, if you will.
Yeah.
And so it's very important, like if you're working on the outside, don't quit your day job. Invest in
Right.
yourself some kind of a way
Right.
that you can do these things and don't go with your heart.
Right. I love that because we all start with our own money in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
trying to make
Mm-hmm.
it work. So I'm excited about what you shared. That's really juicy wisdom and information. And speaking of wisdom, usually my last question is centered around of a statement that I used in the Catch series, the Wise Counsel. That group of people in your inner circle, that a very expensive real estate that we don't allow many people into that particular area of our lives. Those that we can trust, we can vet ideas um, with. And in the book, it was a wise counsel that would help to vet the person that you're dating. But even in business, we have to have kind of that inner circle. Some people call it your tribe, some people call it your wise counsel, who can help you if you just want to bounce an idea off of them. They will be sincere and honest and giving you their true opinion about what they think you should do so that it helps you in making your decisions. Sometimes it's just your plain husband.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I just talk to my husband, what do you think about it? He said, I think you should go and do it, whoever that group is and whatever you call that group or person. Ellen, what would you leave with the audience? Here you are sitting on the platform and speaking as a person who's been successful at literary events. What wise counsel can you leave the audience, whether in a form of a short message or a piece of advice? What would you say to the audience? Someone out there thinking, if it's not going into your particular area of work, it may be another. What suggestion would wise counsel would you give them right now?
Okay. Just as you said, those people in your corner or that you can talk to.
Hmm.
Don't get you any yes friends. Be honest. I have people in my circle that say, Ellen, you don't need to do that. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm being honest about this is what they look. So what they do, these people that are close to me, they see me inward out and they see what I'm trying to do. They know that I go hard and they know
Right.
that I worked hard and I may not want to hear it. And
Wow.
sometimes I am pouting, but in my quiet thoughts, I hear them. And I may
The
have done
truth.
it a different way. You need to have those people that don't always say yes. And you need to have enough tough skin to
Yeah.
say, okay, I have failed. I'm going to use this as fertilizer and I'm going to walk forward in my truth of what I need to see inward out, outward in,
Wow.
and then work on them. Then work on
Wow.
them to build. So have that grain of salt, have those people who really care,
Hmm.
and then walk forward. And don't be ashamed. Like I told you, my failures, don't be
Yeah.
ashamed of that. It's going to help somebody.
Yeah. I listened to a person on one of my other interviews, and they reminded me of the scripture of about the talents, the people who were given the talents. And when the man came back to one of them, he didn't do anything with his talents. He buried it. And all of us have a gifting and a talent inside, and it's important for us not to bury them. It's important for us to move out. So, what you're saying is you do it in a wise way. You need people around you that can help support you because no person is an island, and walking this walk is not easy if you have to do it by yourself. So I'm grateful for the people that have crossed my paths, including you, and meeting you as an interviewer. I've gotten to know you, and I consider you a friend. But just being able to speak life, even when you introduced that brand new app, you said, I need to get you on this app. I'm going, what in the world is wisdom, Miss Ellen? But you were so sure I needed to be, and I trusted you and did it with you. So I'm saying that it's important to be able to work with people that you value and you can trust. And so I appreciate your wisdom today. So now, Miss Ellen, this has gone very quickly, but you have the platform. You can leave whatever advice you want to leave with the audience, and then also please tell them how they can stay connected with you. If you have anything that's upcoming, please feel free to use this to say. Now, keep in mind, we're talking 2025, but please leave them with some information and also how to connect with you.
Sure, Dr. Velma, thank you so much. Um, this is what I would like to, for authors really, is invest in yourself. If there's a event planner who want to host you, don't be afraid to invest. And as I say for myself, that your book is the product that I am telling the readers that your book is a surefire win. And with me saying that, believe in what you have. Believe in what you have, and that's your baby. That
Mhm.
is your newborn baby. You don't want to just put it anywhere. Tend to your baby and make sure that that book is getting out successfully, that you had a successful birth. And that's one of the things I want to know. And to get with me, I have a 3 day show. And that 3 day show, you can take your time. We deep dive into your book. We actually read the book, the first 10 chapters, and deep dive in it. And it's a 3 day because folks has been saying this has happened too quick. And Dr. Palmer, you know that it goes by so fast.
Yes, it
And
does.
then I'm on YouTube. And so on YouTube, that's something that's really quick that I'm doing for a donation for those. I want to make it where any new author, an author that is really busy, that really don't have time, but that can pop in for a little bit and go back out, that they will be able to have on these platforms that is shared out. And this is another thing, and I'll close with this. You
Hmm.
as an author, it's very important to engage with your readers
Yes,
because I know you want book sales, but engaging with your readers and having a readership relationship
yes,
equal book sales. That
yes,
equal book sales. And if you're not wanting to engage, one book, one reader could say, don't buy her book. She didn't even speak to me. She didn't even want to talk to me. And that
yes,
would blaze and you're already done before you even started.
that's
So
true.
you want to have that. And don't be afraid of doing your work. So you can reach me on everything ESP Presents. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, now YouTube,
Hmm.
and those are the ways to get me. And I am very, Dr. Velma, you know, I am very passionate and
Yeah.
looking forward to, especially we thrive on the new readers so that
Hmm.
they can have family. And I
Yes,
know what it's like to be out there and to have no family. And
yes,
so me working with New York Times bestsellers, and the readers know that I have that, and the indie come in, they never knew you was new unless you
yeah,
said so. Thank you
right.
for this opportunity, Dr.
No,
Velma.
I appreciate it. And thank you for all that you have shared with the audience today. And listen, audience, make sure you get in touch with Ellen Sutter on any social media platforms. Where can they reach you, Ellen?
They can reach me at ESP Presents, and that's on IG and Facebook. And
Okay.
also, my email address is mrssuds@yahoo.com. That's MRSSUDDS at yahoo.com. And I'm looking forward to sharing your story with the world.
Well, thank you for everything. You even gave a little tip on finding the right husband, somebody that supports your vision and supports what you do, even if it means he has to hand over some of the money. I love that. That's a man that loves his wife. I appreciate
Yes.
that. I didn't miss that, but I picked up on it. So
Yes.
thank you so much, audience. I hope you enjoyed Ellen Sudderth today. I hope you got all the juicy nuggets you needed because she really laid it out there for us today and was very transparent and honest. I want to thank you all for listening, and please continue to listen to the Finding Your Voice podcast. And again, I thank you all. Thank you, Miss Ellen, and everyone have a great day.
Thank you.